What if everything you were taught about history wasn't the complete story? What if some of the biggest governments in the world secretly conducted experiments on their own citizens, covered up dangerous accidents, and hid classified operations for decades? Throughout history, governments have justified secrecy as necessary for national security. Sometimes, that secrecy protected nations from real threats, but in other cases, it concealed shocking truths that the public had every right to know. Today, we're uncovering 10 government secrets that remained hidden for years before finally being exposed. Some sound like science fiction. Others are so disturbing that many people still struggle to believe they actually happened. From secret nuclear tests to hidden surveillance programs, these stories reveal what can happen when power operates behind closed doors. Let's dive in. In the early years of the Cold War, nuclear testing was happening at an unprecedented scale. The United States and the Soviet Union were detonating atomic bombs regularly, and scientists became increasingly concerned about radioactive fallout spreading across the globe. In 1953, the U.S. government launched a secret study known as Project Sunshine. Officially, the project aimed to measure the effects of radioactive particles in the environment. But there was a dark side to the operation. Researchers needed human tissue samples to measure levels of radioactive strontium-90, a dangerous substance created during nuclear explosions. To gather this information, thousands of human remains, including those of infants and children, were secretly collected from around the world. Families often had no idea that organs or body parts from deceased relatives were being used in government research. For years, the project remained hidden from the public. When details eventually emerged, outrage followed. Many people questioned whether scientific advancement justified such invasive and secretive practices. Project Sunshine became a reminder that even research conducted in the name of public safety can raise serious ethical concerns when transparency is absent. Imagine discovering that your government once considered staging attacks against its own people. It sounds unbelievable. But that's exactly what happened with Operation Northwoods. In 1962, during tensions between the United States and Cuba, military leaders proposed a shocking plan. The operation suggested creating fake terrorist attacks and military incidents that could be blamed on Cuba. The goal was simple: generate public support for military intervention. The proposals included ideas such as hijacked aircraft, staged bombings, and fabricated evidence. Fortunately, the plan was never approved. President John F. Kennedy rejected the proposal. For decades, the public knew nothing about it. Only years later, after classified documents were declassified, did the world learn how far some officials had been willing to go to influence public opinion. The revelation fueled debates about government accountability and the dangers of unchecked power. Even today, Operation Northwoods remains one of the most controversial military plans ever uncovered. One of the most infamous government secrets in American history began in 1932. The Tuskegee study involved hundreds of African-American men in Alabama. The participants were told they were receiving medical care, but the truth was far different. Researchers wanted to study the progression of syphilis. Even after effective treatment became available in the 1940s, many participants were deliberately denied medicine. The study continued for decades. The men involved often had no idea what was really happening. Many suffered severe health consequences. Some died. Families were affected for generations. The experiment remained hidden from the public until a whistleblower exposed it in 1972. The backlash was enormous. Investigations followed. Government officials eventually issued formal apologies. The Tuskegee experiment became a powerful example of why informed consent and medical ethics are essential. It remains one of the darkest chapters in public health history. During the Cold War, governments feared biological warfare. The United Kingdom conducted numerous secret experiments to understand how biological agents might spread. But there was one major problem. Many tests were carried out without public knowledge. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, scientists released substances over cities and coastal regions. Residents often had no idea they were participating in large-scale experiments. Officials argued that the materials were harmless and necessary for national defense research. However, critics questioned whether citizens should have been informed. When documents became public decades later, many people were shocked. The revelations sparked discussions about the balance between security and personal rights. It also highlighted how governments sometimes make decisions based on what they believe is the greater good, even when the public remains unaware. If there is one government secret that sounds like a Hollywood thriller, it's MKUltra. Launched by the Central Intelligence Agency during the Cold War, MKUltra focused on mind control and behavior modification. The CIA feared that rival nations were developing advanced interrogation techniques. To stay ahead, researchers explored methods of influencing human behavior. The project included hundreds of experiments. Some involved hypnosis, others involved sensory deprivation. Certain tests used psychoactive substances, including LSD. Many participants never knew they were part of the experiments. The secrecy surrounding MKUltra was extreme. In the 1970s, investigations revealed shocking details. Large portions of project records had already been destroyed. As a result, the full scope of MKUltra may never be known. The revelations damaged public trust and became one of the most famous examples of secret government experimentation. Even today, MKUltra continues to inspire books, movies, and conspiracy theories. When discussing nuclear accidents, most people immediately think of Chernobyl. But decades before Chernobyl, another disaster occurred, and it was kept hidden from the world. In 1957, a storage tank containing radioactive waste exploded at a secret Soviet nuclear facility near Mayak. The explosion released massive amounts of radiation into the environment. Entire communities were affected. Thousands of people faced exposure, yet very few people knew what had happened. The Soviet government concealed the incident. Information was tightly controlled. Affected areas were evacuated quietly. For years, outside observers remained unaware of the true scale of the disaster. Only decades later did details emerge. The Kishtim disaster is now considered one of the worst nuclear accidents in history. Its secrecy demonstrated how governments can suppress information when national interests are perceived to be at stake. Sometimes the secret isn't an experiment or an operation. Sometimes it's information itself. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. government publicly presented a certain narrative about the conflict. Behind the scenes, internal reports painted a different picture. These reports became known as the Pentagon Papers. The documents revealed that officials had often known the war was far more complicated and difficult than public statements suggested. In 1971, military analyst Daniel Ellsberg leaked thousands of pages to the press. The publication created a political storm. Government leaders attempted to stop newspapers from publishing the documents. The case eventually reached the Supreme Court. The court sided with the press. The Pentagon Papers became a landmark moment for transparency and freedom of information. The incident also increased public skepticism toward official government statements. For years, many people assumed intelligence agencies monitored threats only in limited circumstances. Then came one of the biggest intelligence leaks in modern history. In 2013, former intelligence contractor Edward Snowden revealed classified information about surveillance programs. The documents suggested that enormous amounts of digital communication data were being collected: phone records, internet activity, metadata. The revelation sparked global debate. Supporters argued that surveillance helped prevent terrorism. Critics argued that privacy rights were being undermined. Governments around the world faced difficult questions. How much surveillance is too much? Where should the line be drawn? The disclosures changed public understanding of digital privacy forever. Even today, discussions about online monitoring remain highly controversial. Few government secrets have generated more fascination than Area 51. Located deep in the Nevada desert, the facility became a magnet for speculation. For decades, the U.S. government barely acknowledged its existence. The secrecy fueled rumors. Alien spacecraft, recovered extraterrestrial technology, secret weapons, hidden experiments. While no evidence has confirmed alien involvement, declassified documents eventually revealed that Area 51 played a critical role in testing advanced military aircraft. Programs such as the U-2 spy plane were developed there. Because the projects were highly classified, unusual aircraft sightings often led to extraordinary theories. The mystery surrounding Area 51 demonstrates an interesting reality. When governments remain silent, public imagination often fills the gaps. Even today, Area 51 remains one of the most famous secret facilities in the world. The biggest government secret on this list changed the course of human history. During World War II, the United States launched a massive classified effort known as the Manhattan Project. The goal was to build the world's first atomic bomb. What made the project extraordinary wasn't just its scale. It was the secrecy. More than 130,000 people worked on the project, yet many had no idea what they were actually building. Entire facilities appeared almost overnight. Towns were created. Operations were compartmentalized. Workers often knew only a tiny piece of the overall mission. In July 1945, the first atomic bomb was successfully tested in New Mexico. Just weeks later, nuclear weapons were used against the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world entered the nuclear age. For years, many details remained classified. When more information became public, people gained a clearer understanding of one of the most secretive and influential projects ever undertaken. The Manhattan Project demonstrated just how much can be accomplished when governments mobilize enormous resources in complete secrecy. But it also raised lasting questions about power, ethics, and the consequences of technological advancement. These 10 stories reveal an uncomfortable truth. Governments often possess information that the public doesn't know. Sometimes secrecy protects national security. Sometimes it prevents panic. And sometimes it hides mistakes, controversial decisions, or actions that might never withstand public scrutiny. History shows that secrets rarely stay hidden forever. Documents get declassified. Whistleblowers come forward. Investigations uncover the truth. And when they do, society is forced to confront difficult questions about trust, accountability, and power. Which of these secrets shocked you the most? Was it MKUltra, Area 51, Operation Northwoods, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the future elite community for more fascinating stories about history, science, money, and the hidden truths shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.